Yeah, I mean, that's always a thing with top whatever lists is they uh, they are rarely. Okay, can I? Well, we're going up now because that was inconvenient. Well, this could be a thing. Find a stairs that's not so screwed up. Hey, Rufford again with the gift sub to free kill. Thank you so much, Rufford. He's a machine of gift subs. Yeah, Rufford is also the top gifter to Yogi the Monk, and I think a few of you check out his stream. He's another good RPG general variety streamer. And Rufford, I think Yogi, actually I saw, started just now playing Wizardry 8 for like the block of hours. He's doing a special where he's playing the subscriber's choice for 2 hours, and then for each sub, and then for every hour, for every gift sub you award, you get another hour of choice. And Rufford is gifted like, I've gifted a bunch myself, but Rufford is gifted like twice that. So due to Rufford's generosity, the flip side is that Yogi has to play Wizardry 8 for like 8 hours. I will do it. It's been fun following that. Yeah, I'm not actually familiar with what the game is like. I was never into the Wizardry series. It seems a pretty cool kind of hardcore old school RPG. But I will do a special like that at some point because it's fun. Just have to decide what kind of games I can play. Yeah, I guess it's not that old school. It's just kind of retro. Yeah, let me mandatory emote spam. You have to obviously ponder the deep meaning of which emote to spam when somebody makes a sub. You must choose the right emote. Toad has Jackal, yeah. Yogi has Toki Hey. I should upload a Zom Girl and Sexy Marjorie 2.0. Zom Girl would actually be the perfect emote to spam, so maybe I'll do that just for that reason alone. I tried to make her emote so she was holding a... Yeah, that's not a bad one. The altar tiles are pretty badass. So I want to avoid having to use any more cure pots like I did back there. That was a little bit wasteful, but we don't have a ton of them. Eventually we'll have tons of them, but right now we're somewhat low. I think most of this is cleared out. It's hopefully just some more random ants. Worker ants, I mean. Yeah, that is true, but these guys are also like NES console runners, so they're used to that level of, you know, UI badness. Yogi's one of my favorite Yogi streams, Yogi games, was when he was streaming Ultima 5 for NES, and I guess Ultima 5 is probably a good game if you played it for PC, but the port for NES is particularly awful, and it's awful in multiple ways, not least of which is the fact that it has basically one song that plays the entire game pretty much at all points throughout the game, whether you're in like a town area or whatever. It just plays all the time. Also, the speed run involved a ton of like random teleport and a lot of like really long maze navigation. And it just was not. It was a terrible port. The original game is probably pretty great for, you know, for an Ultima style game, but he ran that game because he wanted Toad to speedrun Ultima 3 on NES, and Toad agreed to do it only if Yogi ran Ultima 5, because Toad knew how bad Ultima 5 NES was. But Yogi, in fact, did do it, and he had to run it and get the world record. And there was like one run that somebody had submitted for the fastest time, but it was improvable. So Yogi said, or Toad asked him to get the world record, and then I'll play Ultima 3. And so Yogi did that, and then Toad did in fact play Ultima 3. I think, didn't Toad actually get a record in Ultima 3? A lot of those games have kind of neat, like those NES RPGs, Super NES RPGs, like all the JRPGs, they have really neat speed runs that are pretty fun. Be they like Ultima, kind of the Western style, or JRPGs like, you know, anything from Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, and the like. You have to do some pretty weird step manipulation based on what seed you started on to get the best possible set of random battles that take the least time. And then other glitches and tricks you use to skip sections of the game, and stuff like that. Yeah, what would be rough would be something like speedrunning on Commodore 64, where you had to deal with like disk loading and swapping and stuff like that. Yeah, Dragon Warrior does, definitely. Hopefully I don't absent-mindedly get myself killed as I talk about all this non-crawl stuff. It's a very slow layer. You guys with the generous subs and me starting up on stories about weird speedruns. So we no word yet if we'll see that wasn't perhaps ideal. Don't know if we got Swamp, if we'll get a chance to see new guess I could fireball. Nope. No, I couldn't fireball because I don't got enough MP. Oh man. Jacks are bringing it. Well, we're gonna have to retreat. Oh, you would do that. Oh, that was just enough. Pretty good for blink frogs because they can't dodge magic dart and they can't the barrage from the battlesphere. Yep, there's I can look it up for you. It's not, I mean, it's new content, but it's not. What I added was I gave swamp worms. Swamp worms are now a little bit less common in swamp. Before you saw something like 4.5 on average. Now you see like 3.5. So they're a little bit less common. Their weight is, the weight that they had that was lost was replaced with alligators and tyrant leeches. So you'll see maybe one of each of those more per level. And they have a new harpoon shot spell, which fires a long and flexible barbed mass. The ensnared victim will either be pulled adjacent to the caster or collide with anything blocking the way. Meaning, like, if you can't either fly or be in deep water, you'll collide with any deep water that blocks the path. This is similar to how Force Lance and blowback from like Draconian Ice Breath works. So they basically yank you over, and it's a range. Currently, it's range 6, and they have it, as do Iron Giants and Dis. Okay, there's 8 fire. How we feeling? We're gonna go with some more dodge. It's definitely 12 at least. "10 fighting, 12 dodging is pretty good. Really? Clever. Oh, I wonder if I can... Alright, is this going to be the Fulminant Prism? Is this going to be the one? Well, it did something. Good enough. Sure, it would have been better just to cast Fireball, but that's alright. Weapon, I will certainly train a weapon, yeah, by that point. See, the thing about Extended is you have lots of XP, so you have, like, getting 14 skill for a one-handed weapon. It'll be a one-hander, and I'll have probably a medium shield, but that's such a relatively trivial investment that sure. You won't see me, like, tabbing lots of monsters. You'll see me using it to kill really weak stuff without having to spend any MP, maybe. Free kill with the requests. Oh no, this isn't. This is OC Remix. I've not heard this one. I'm gonna go pick up a new USB keyboard. I had this one for a long time, and I think the USB cable is going bad. I'm gonna do that this week. Yeah, I remember this now. Well, this has certainly been a slow layer. I don't think we're going to get the real-time record with this run, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think this is going to do it. Slimy gloves. Oh, here's our Death Yak. We've been waiting. Yep, so he just, he decided to... Oh, I didn't actually want to do that. Down he goes. Yeah, so they have enough HP that they'll sometimes just step in it. So a lot of people are sort of confused about how it works for monsters stepping into Cloud. Basically, they look at Cloud damage, they look at their current HP, and they sort of say, well, what's the damage of the Cloud relative to my remaining HP? That's why player ghosts like to step in it. Hydra often like to step in it because their HP is just sort of high enough. Player ghosts tend to have pretty high HP relative to where you encounter them. They have much more than most monsters, so it's especially true for ghosts. Sort of reminds me I need to take a look at Advil's Ghost Branch. Maybe think about getting that merged. Will this guy step in it? Yes, he will. Yeah, it's really nice having this EV because monsters just have a hard time hitting you, and it gives you a lot more staying power in fights. I don't really mind being next to a Death Yak too much because they can maybe hit me, but if they're only hitting me like one time in 3, one time in 4, that's just... I don't really need a ton of turns to take them out. Oh. It's clever. Oh, okay. We got in over our heads with that one for sure. Here we go. There's our 12 dodging and our 10. I like the dramatic explosion the moment that everything died. That was good. So we've got 12 dodging now, 10 fighting. Actually, I am going to work on Evo. Evo is always good to have. We'll go for 6. Yep. Well, he did get a hit. Now it's a little bit more dangerous. I don't know if he's gonna step. Oh wow, that was not a good result that I did right there. I accidentally miskeyed and stepped forward. That was unwise. I just elected to use a Invis pot because Invis pots are valuable for sure, but relatively speaking, it's a bit less. I go ahead and ID, good. There we go. So our friend the Death Yak, he's back. Once again, got myself into trouble. Yeah, it's all about the setup. You need to play with real care about and dealing with each situation, because you can just turn a relatively simple one into something that's a problem. Really wish, this is where I wish I had Swift or something like that. Swift would have made this so much easier, and that's why this spell is so good. Damn. No, why do you do that? I keep miskeying that, man. That's so annoying. Stop miskeying like that. Finally. Still had to use a heal wounds, which was what I was trying to avoid. My own stupid mistakes. It's like, I made that fight way more complicated twice in a row for no good reason. Kept re-hitting Battle Sphere. It's alright though. We're somewhat, I mean, are we really light on consumables? A little bit. Definitely a little bit light on scrolls, on some kinds of scrolls, just because we only have one blinking, don't have any fear, and I think I did use some heal wounds earlier. Now we're down to 1, because again, making a stupid mistake. Like, that would have been such a easy fight with the Death Yak if I had not decided I was going to screw it up in a particular way. But so it goes. Minus cast. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, we did get Swamp. Gotta be careful about Conjure Flame, because if there is a Swamp Worm here, they can pull me into it. Oh wow, that's why you want to check out the area. Just trying to not make this Death Yak fight as bad as wow, it dissipates. It's been dissipating very quickly. I'm surprised. Alright, there's our Swamp Worm. And there's more Death Yaks. Ours Violent Unraveling. I don't think we're going to memorize that one, because I'm not going to train either of those schools, at least not right now. Actually, eventually we will, but by the time I'm training them, it's going to be wounded and dying creatures. That'd be kind of funny. I guess there's no reason why you couldn't do that. Got rid of Swamp Worm before he could harpoon me. So what do we want to go for next? I'm actually going to go for fighting. Well, Maybe we'll do 14. Then we'll go for fighting. I recognize this, but then I don't. Oh, that's why. Final Fantasy V. Sounded like music from a Final Fantasy, but 5 I'm less familiar with. Well, it's not going to do me much good, is it? Yeah, I think it got a... Didn't it get a translated release? Well, I guess it got like a PSP treatment at some point, didn't it? I never really... I played like... I played some of like the fan translation at some point, but I never really finished it. Yeah, some of those Death Yak fights were a little bit rough. Most of that was self-inflicted. Trying to think if I want to go for anything else right now. I do have Fireball. I could memorize Bolt of Magma. That spell's such a crappy spell. I probably have abysmal spell power with it. Yeah. I'm not really ready to sink a bunch of skill into Earth. I certainly could, but I would kind of rather increase the chance that I'll get a Firestorm gift. Those games aren't really so much fun to play today, since we have like roguelikes and even roguelites that are, I think, just a lot better as games. I sort of view those as like playable comic books in a way. So that's the kind of thing that when you're a kid and you don't really want to necessarily have to like think too hard, but you kind of want to learn how to play a role-playing game, they're pretty good. You know, they have saves, they're pretty straightforward. They have stuff that's much more appealing to kids in terms of like, you know, plot and presentation, but they're just not that interesting as games anymore. But if you speedrun them, then it's definitely a lot more interesting because they're a lot harder. There's some interesting stuff you get to do in them, and you can, you know, you can improve the route through the game and stuff like that. Yeah, the 4-Job Fiesta and other challenge runs basically is what I'm saying can really make those games interesting. I'm not sure that have a party. Yeah, it's not common for roguelikes. It's really not even about necessarily roguelike and permadeath. It's really about just having good procedural generation in a way that's meaningful. I mean, just in terms of replayability, there's something to be said about a game where you basically only play it through one time. It's not and obviously those games can be kind of like that, but even if I was playing it through for the first time, that's what it would be like for me. Just I'm playing a comic book. The actual game parts are just not all that challenging and or interesting if you play it casually. DCSS and other games like it sort of add a lot of level of challenge, and they're obviously highly replayable. Ziggurat.